Mr. Chairman, if I may, this was, if you guys remember, I think the budgeted amount that was approved was $10,000 for, banners and flags for the poles in the DDA. This was these are the 8 decorations that went up at the intersection of Goddard and Pardee. We tried to get them in and get them installed in time to have them up for the holidays. We'll take them down and store them, and then hopefully next year we'll be able to maybe do 4 more poles, which ends up being 8 because there's 2 on each pole, and then go a little deeper out into the intersection, and we'll have the entire intersection covered. So we did get quotes. Bronner's was, I believe, the lowest price, and they had them available. And of course, being in Michigan, they were, I think, shipped in here within a day.
So we've approved the expenditure of $10,000, but we won't spend the 44.
Correct.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, we have motion by Greg, supported by Rich. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carried. Item number 6 is a motion to receive and file Act 57 of 2018, recodification information presented by Plant Moran. Motion. Motion by Mo. Supported by Rich. Under discussion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to introduce Carrie Shea from Plant Moran. Carrie, do you want to do this twice because we have the DDA meeting first and then skip a second? Is that okay?
No problem. It's not that long. Do you want me to come up here with it?
Sure.
Sure. So I gave you a single packet. There's 2 pieces to it. One is a summary that we've done internally to kind of break down the legislative language to kind of highlight the key points that would impact you. And then behind it, I excerpted the exact legislation from really, it's a 110-page document. The majority of the document is really the top part of the summary that recodifies all of the pre-existing TIFA acts. There were various acts that existed for TIFA or DDA. They're now all in this act. And so that's just a consolidation. You would all now reference instead of PA 197 that you would have followed before, you now follow PA 57 of 2018. So that's the first bulk of the legislation. The last couple of pages, though, speak to really what the state has been doing over the past few years for the cities, and now really moving it into the authorities, which is increased transparency. So Mayor Sollers, I know, is aware that the city has to put out budgets and different things like that, and now they're, as effective January 1st of this year, you now have a responsibility going forward to put up certain pieces of information and make it public. And making it public means you can put it on the city's existing website, or you can make it publicly available within the city hall. So talking through a couple points of that, the first obligation that they've put out there, it's the first year of implementation, so the dates are a little different, but by April 1st of this year, the authority is going to be required to submit your adopted development plan, or a TIF plan, to the Department of Treasury. They are in process of creating an annual report that you will need to complete. They said that will be made available to you within 60 days of January 1st, so probably by March 1st that will be available. You will then have 180 days from your year end, which is June 30. So you'll have until December 31st of this year to complete the next bulk of items that I'm going to talk about, which would include this report that they create for you to complete, as well as your audit report, which is done in conjunction with the city's audit and is done by that deadline every year. And then they also have, if you look at the bottom of this first page, a list of various documents that need to be made available publicly. So minutes of any board meetings, current staff contact information, all of your approved budgets, your annual audits, your TIF plan, current contracts. They also state in the act that if you have revenue that you've brought in that you've not expended within 5 years, they want you to include a reason for the accumulated funds, what your expected uses of those going forward, and the time frame that they would be used. And then going onward, they also say if you have revenues not expended within 10 years, what the ramifications of that would be. They are, when you read the language, you will put this up this year for this year and anything from 2017. They basically want to build to an accumulation of 5 years of rolling data. So you'll keep adding till you hit that 5th year, and then you can drop off the 1st year. They're also requiring that you have a minimum of 2 informational meetings a year, and you have to give them the 14 days advance notice that the meetings will be held. And then they also have put in like what will happen if you don't follow their guidelines. So they will give you a notice if these are not made publicly available. If there's a non-compliant status still after 60 days, they will then prohibit capture for anything besides bonded debt at that point or other obligations, which they say other obligations, so that's all we know at this point. And it goes on further if that were to continue to 2 years, what that would be. So I've also included the link here to the full document, and then as I mentioned before, the last couple pages are really these new requirements that are most key, that is exactly from the language of the act. So I think a lot of it are probably things you're already doing. It's just a matter of making them more available and then probably adding on completing this annual report once they produce what they would like you to complete. Are there any questions I can?
I have a question. The item that talks about current contracts, is that like for attorney contracts, or anytime we spend money on anything, is that considered a contract?
They say anything related to the management of the authority or services. So, services provided. So I would think any legal contract with that would be under that. There is, I believe, and I'm happy to follow up on any questions with Treasury as well, but normally they're pretty easy to reach to answer some of those questions.
Question to the mayor, do we put any of this on the web right now?
I think there's a page that has been established, and it is on that page for DDA enter.
Yeah, it's for all of our boards that we do have, so.
The agendas and like minutes
The
are
agendas,
all
the minutes,
already-
the board members, also the bylaws, so the new process really would be just to add some more contact information, and that's added to. So it is like Carrie's saying, stuff that we really do now already. It's just a matter of having to give the DDA and our type of board that this is happening. So we have a new Act 57.
Any other questions for Carrie?
Thank you so much.
George.
I have a question. So really all like DDA and TIFA, they all need their own plan, right?
Yep.
But they're all incorporated into the procedures and the policies that are written here.
The only one that's excluded from the recodification are brownfields.
Brownfields, okay,
Yeah.
good.
Anything else? Sean?
No.
Right.
Okay, thanks, Carrie.
Thank you. No problem.
Okay, we have a motion by Mo, supported by Rich, to receive and file Act 57 of 2018, recodification information presented by Plant Moran. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carried. Item number 7 is open business. Anyone have any open business? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Noel. Support by Greg to adjourn at 5:45. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Thanks, everyone. See you in here. And can everybody sign it?